Hey, what's up everybody? Ed the Pond Professor here. I am coming to you from the outskirts of Chicago, Illinois today, and I'm actually on my way to the airport. I am heading down to Australia. I am definitely in Australia right now. Check out that little guy. Wow, check out these water lilies. That is insane. Huge flowers. Snorkeler in here just checking out underneath that. That is one of the most incredible views ever. Now that is a fitting entrance. Check that out. And then if you look down inside of here, you're gonna see little fish swimming around, and look at that water quality. It's really unbelievable. I'm actually part of a team from Aquascape that is heading down there, and we're going to be doing some really unique things there. My role with Aquascape has evolved over the past 27 years. I'm involved in designing and building custom water features. I do consulting work. I do training. I do vlogs. I do PR and marketing for the company. Why I'm going to Australia is kind of unique because I'm going to be wrapping all those different things together. I'm actually going to be designing and building a really cool water feature. I'm talking to a group of architects and engineers about the beauty of ecosystem ponds. I'm going to be exploring, looking at the native environments, which is actually what generates all those ideas. I'm also going to be looking at a project that I was part of with Patrick Handley. He just built an incredible water feature down there, and I was helping him with doing some of the design work and the specifications to make that project function. So I'm really looking forward to checking all these different things out. It's going to be a really busy trip. It's going to be fast. It's going to be loaded with all types of stuff. So stay tuned for this one.
Thank you for your cooperation.
Alright, I am definitely in Australia right now. Check out that little guy. Just kind of hopping along here on my way over to the lake. He just disappeared down in the ravine there. Hopefully I'll see a couple more. Just walking through here over at the Woodford Folk Festival property on my way over to the lake. Now that is a fitting entrance. Check that out. Beautiful bamboo structure. Just enters everybody onto the property. And then beyond the little general store coffee house over here, that's the location of the lake. Love the creativity, use of the natural materials. Big giant pieces of bamboo layered inside of here, kind of creating this big open splayed type of an effect. Definitely going to try to utilize some of this technology and artistry on something. Not 100% sure what, but man, that looks awesome. Display that they created here for the lake just so they could educate everybody that's coming here, which I love. That's just awesome. So the average person coming up to this facility is going to have no idea what it takes to operate something like this. I always start out here where the pumps are located. This is saying return flows. All of that flow is going into one point. This is more like a river system. This is a common strategy for us because it gives us better water quality. By having a flow going through everything, we're going to be removing nutrients. We're going to be increasing dissolved oxygen throughout the entire system, going back over to the pump system. From there, the pumps are going to distribute the water into strategic locations. Over here, we have this big sedge wetland. Then there's another series of jets over here. This is the main wetland up here. All that water flowing in, flowing up through, and then it's going to re-enter the pond as a series of waterfalls. That's going to help with the natural aeration of the system. We have nanobubble outlets, we have jets, so everything is flowing back down towards that pump. You know, when we design and build stuff, and if we're trying to create a natural ecosystem, we're cycling nutrients through it. What we're doing is we're feeding our fish. The fish waste is actually going to put nutrients in the water that's going to feed the aquatic plants and the other microorganisms. Periodically, fish are going to be eaten. That's actually okay, especially on a system like this. That body mass themselves is an important part of the food chain. So if a bird comes in and takes one of those small fish away, it's actually removing nutrients from the system for us, which is actually beneficial. So that's kind of some of the stuff that I want to stress about this is truly set up as a natural ecosystem, which, man, I love this. I mean, just check this stuff out. Here we have all of our different carex. And then if you look down inside of here, you're gonna see little fish swimming around, and look at that water quality. It's really unbelievable. This is a perfect nursery form because the larger predatory fish can't get to them. So they're gonna be able to flourish in this area. These guys are gonna feed on all the different little microorganisms living inside of here, the copepods, the rotifers, the tardigrades. We have some algal masses inside of here. That's okay as well because algae is an important part of the ecosystem. It's gonna help scrub some of the nitrates out of the pond. So I love having a little bit of that, especially up in a filter system. You look really close here, you're gonna see a series of these snorkel lids. So those snorkel vaults, that's a proprietary system that we developed many, many years ago. Down underneath that is a series of centipedes. That's the water dispersion system. On top of that is a layer of aqua blocks. And then we have many, many feet of graded river rock. And then planted inside of the river rock is all of these beautiful aquatic plants. Check out, there's the beautiful beach over there. You can actually see that flow getting pushed in from around the perimeter. We're gonna have to take a walk around this thing. Check out this massive log just dipping down into the water, but it's actually hollow. So that's a beautiful little habitat for all types of things to go inside, as well as here on the surface. This is a perfect spot for a turtle to kind of come up on this log, sun himself over in here. They may even feed on some of these snails. They're feeding on the algae. So that's a mollusk. So that's their big powerful foot over here down on the bottom. That actually attaches them to surfaces. This mouth structure is actually has a series of like rasping edges on it. You can actually see they'll carve grooves into things. So they're literally feeding on this algal mass. So you can see it's actually clean right over here. And right here, this is where the snails are located. They're gonna clean all that material off. But look at that water clarity. You got those little jets coming in, so that's pushing all of that water. This was just planted up a few months ago, so within the next season or two, especially down here in this tropical heat, this plant material is gonna create a huge mass all the way along this edge. And these are an important part of the ecosystem. The root systems are gonna spread their way down into that gravel bed, and it's gonna help absorb nutrients out of the water. The other thing that will do is it's gonna create a beautiful little nursery for all different types of fish. So we have a couple different things that are happening here. So you're gonna have different types of organisms live on a stone versus on a plant. Epilithic versus epiphytic. So you're gonna have different types of animals associated with these little zones. And I wanna take a walk over here to go check out that intake bay. Then we'll make our way back around to that other side. I could see some beautiful water lilies popping up from that far edge over there. So this is where everything starts. You can see that flow coming in here, really, really important. This is called an intake bay. It's basically a customized skimmer system that's gonna draw water into a catchment area. So the pumps are drawing water out of this area. What's happening is the lake is trying to refill it as fast as the water's getting pumped out of it. Any debris that falls on the surface of this, and you can look, it's very, very clear right now. Anything floating on the surface is gonna get drawn into this catchment area. That's an important part, especially in a managed pond like this, because all that surface debris, organic compounds and things like that, could be periodically removed. By doing that, we're keeping them from becoming saturated. If they become saturated and sink to the bottom, that adds excess nutrients into the water. And in a pond like this for swimming, we want to remove as many of those nutrients as possible. You've got these beautiful stepping stones going across, but these actually perform an important function. They're cutting off a specific volume of the water flowing in. And what it does is it increases the velocity going through these little joints here. It actually creates a better skimming effect. Here's this beach area. This allows an easy entry point for bathers that are coming in here. Patrick said in some of the deepest areas it's up to 18 inches deep. So we got a nice thick sand layer in here. This is just like a washed river sand. So you can see it's got a variety of different grades to it. Small pebbles and things like that, all the way down into the fine sand granules. Big rock outcroppings, just creating nice viewing points for different visitors. So the whole idea with this is to engage people. Some jumping rocks over in here. This is going down into a little deeper zone of water. Got log overhangs coming out, and this is that other wetland area. These are responsible for the detoxification of all the water. Colonies and colonies of microorganisms that we've created a home for. Those animals will live in and around the rock structures, and as the water flows up past them, they're going to consume nutrients out of the water. A beautiful view from this side. These are my favorite areas. I love this transition point where the wetlands, marshlands actually meet the main lake system. So all that material is getting filtered up through, and then it's going to come out of the top of the gravel bed. It's very nutrient rich. There's all types of life happening in here, which is what is bringing the fish in place. I'm gonna go check out that water lily bed over here next. Wow, check out these water lilies. That is insane. Look at the size of these incredible plants. 24 inches at least. Huge flowers. You got a snorkeler in here just checking out underneath that. That is one of the most incredible views ever. When you go underwater and you look at all that, all the stalks of the water lilies coming up from the bottom. This is the main beach area. Just look at the scale of this. 150 feet long. You can see all that flow coming out of here. That's an important thing because you want to keep this clean. And that's because sand is going to become very compacted because of the void space in between is so tight. So you can see some of that sediment and stuff being washed out of here. We want to keep that material from becoming anaerobic. So by having kids in here, by having other types of animals that are actually digging inside of it, it's actually very beneficial along with all of these jets. Just look at that strong flow. So that's going to be critical for the overall long-term sustainability of this beach system. You have the main waterfall over there in the back, which is the main point of oxygenation. I tell you what, I have been designing and building ponds a long time, 27 years. I actually remember talking to Patrick about this several years ago during the design phase and just giving a little bit of input as to the pumps, the wetland filters and things like that. I saw it all from a conceptual standpoint, but now I could actually see it functioning. And you know what? This is a home run. This is unbelievable. I could only imagine when they have the huge Woodford Folk Festival out here and all the people. He was telling me up to 5,000 people a day will be swimming inside of this pond. Just awesome. The whole point is education. It's connecting people with water, and that's what I love about it. My goal is to connect people with water the way nature intended it. This is a natural living ecosystem, and that's what I want to do. I want to allow kids to swim in a natural pond system, check out the fish, learn about it, and appreciate it for future generations. This is awesome.